Okay, hello, welcome back to Devlog 2. Hopefully you saw the first part, because I'm not going to explain very much of what this project is so far. But I did just want to pop in and show that I finished the camera shake. I mentioned that I was trying to set up a custom camera shake utilizing vector curves to drive the rotation or location of the camera, opposed to just using UE's like very primitive head bob system with its legacy camera shake. And I finished it. So I wanted to hop in and show my progress and what I've done, just to keep it moving. So what I was doing was I initially followed this right here from whoever this is. It just shows you a very simple system on how to connect vector curve assets into a timeline and play it using lerps to interpolate between. Oh no, it doesn't lerp actually. I added a whole bunch of lerps. I'll show you that later. But it just it drives camera shake or relative camera location and location via the curve in its output vectors. So I got that very simple system in place, but this is not the system he taught. So the initial system was probably like this big. I have expounded massively upon this, and I'll try my best to explain what's happening here. So, and I'll give a little demo of what the camera shake actually looks like when I'm finished explaining this stuff. So what this is a custom event. Actually, I should probably start here. So on event tick, we're calling head bob, which is a custom event I have. This little system of booleans here checks if I'm running, walking, or idle. And depending on, of course, running, walking, or idle, it's going to play the certain head bob. So when we're in idle state, we're still using this primitive camera shake because an idle head bob is nothing complex. I don't think I'll need to make a whole couple sets of vector curves just to drive some very simple idle head bob. But when it comes to walking and running, we're going to be running the custom camera shake event, which I'll have to show you here in a second. But this takes multiple curves that are going to define the camera's rotation and location, depending on if you're walking or if you're running. And there's going to be some variation here. I'll show you when I get to the actual custom camera shake node setup. This code right here is smoothing code. So what it does is it smooths between the walking, running, and idle states. I think there's some smoothing code down here too or something. But what it does is it utilizes the strength of the curve. So the curve, let's say I have a point at 0 and a point at 1. If my camera strength is set to 1, it's going to interpolate between 0 and 1, respectively. But if I set it to 0.5, it's going to interpolate between 0 and 0.5, because what this dictates, or it's not even what it dictates, but what it's doing is it's lerping between the default camera location and rotation. So the default camera rotation would be 0, 0, 0, and lerping between that and what the curve is dictating the camera's rotation is going to be. So say the curve is dictating the camera's rotation is 10, 10, 10 on each axis respectively. Then it's gonna, if I have this as a 0.5, it's lerping in between 0, 0, 0 and 10, 10, 10. That's gonna come out to 5, 5, 5. That's what this is doing. Um, I have a camera shake strength temp variable here. That's immediately, bam, it's being divided by a number to drop it very low. That's for if you're going from idle to walk. And that'll slowly ramp up, which slowly ramps up the strength so that it's not just like idle into walk shake, because the walk shake is very much so, there's a lot more drastic than just the idle shake. So it's like easing you into that shake so it's not so jarring. And I'll show that once I demo the actual camera shake. But let me come up here to the custom camera shake play event. Reminder, I'm not a coder, but a lot of the tutorials I'm finding on YouTube has taught me so much that I'm able to make all this code just by what I'm learning through YouTube and these just like articles and whatnot. There's so much information that it's really easy to learn. I'm not gonna lie, and it's become so user friendly with these nodes and whatnot. Okay, so what this is doing is I can show you down here first. I input all the curves that I need, and it comes up here into the camera shake event, and then I assign these separate curves to the vector timelines here. So I have these timelines. This one is for the walk, and this one's for the run. And I'm injecting a certain curve into the timeline depending on a random integer that I roll here, and that's going to add variation. So if each curve is a two-step walk cycle that has its own individual camera shake, then what I can do is I can make a system that rolls a random integer depending on if it's 0, 1, or 2, it's gonna pick a set of curves here, inject it into this timeline, and then play it through. So each time that two-step camera rotation concludes, it fires this immediately, pulls another integer, injects new curves, and it fires another two-step camera shake. So each two steps going to be different, or each two steps going to be random. I guess it could be the same, and that's going to be the same for the run as well. It just adds variation, so it's not like the same camera shake. For example, if I was walking and my head noticeably leaned right, like every step, it's like okay, there's very repetitive camera shake going on here. But if I have three separate rotation curves and I'm injecting a different one each time, then say my head would rotate right once, and then maybe a little further right the next time, and then maybe a little less right the other time, and then less right again, and then maybe in the middle. So it just adds a lot of variation, and it doesn't look so hard coded. Doesn't look so unrealistic. I guess it just adds a level of realism because, of course, with realism comes imperfection, and that's exactly what this is achieving. It's actually not very complicated, to be honest. If you take a step back and you kind of like analyze what all this code is doing, but it looks super complex just because there's so many node systems and whatnot. But that's pretty much what I've been doing for this past, like, 3 or 4 days or so. I haven't dabbled with much else. Just really working on the smoothing, which was a big part of this. The smoothing logic and, adding a lot there was a lot of stuff I had to do for this, of course. Like, you can see here, the variations took a minute. I wanted to do stuff with the vignette. I wanted some vignette shake and whatnot. You'll see that here. But, let me demo it. Alright. So this is the walk. You can see that it's slowly smoothed in. If I let go, it's gonna slowly, reset the camera back to the position of idle. And then if I let me get into an open here so you can see it smooth in. Smooths in, nice. And then we have the run here. You can see it smooth in there too. It's a little drastic, but you can actually change. I have everything set up with division and multiplying, so you can change the strength at which your character's head is bobbing by interpolating between default or like 0, 0, 0 and what the curve is, right? So let's say I put my camera shake strength to 0.5. Now the max value of that curve in the very default, it's going to be smooth in the middle. Because if 1 is as intense on the curve as possible and 0 is no movement at all, 0.5 is going to be smooth in the middle. Let's check that out here. You can see the camera shake is drastically reduced. When I run, it's not so intense. And that's because I used multiplication and division so that nothing was hard coded and that would all be driven by this camera shake strength here. Sorry if I'm really bad at explaining this stuff. Like I said, I'm extremely novice. I'm a huge rookie when it comes to programming. So when I'm like vibing and I'm in the zone just coding the stuff out, throwing things together, it's not like I'm actually keeping a mental map of what I'm doing. To an extent I am, but like doing it is one thing, putting that into words cohesively and understandably is a completely other ball field that clearly I haven't achieved any sort of proficiency in yet, but yeah, so here's my system. When you stop, smooths the camera out back to default. When you run, back to walk, it smooths it into a walking position. Walk idle, it's smooth again. Yeah, that's what I've got, and you can see the vignette shaking around per footstep, which is on an interval. So I have a footstep interval. If I change that interval, it's going to change everything too. The vignette and everything should align still per footstep on the camera shake and whatnot. And there's a run one as well, a little more drastic, a little quicker. So yeah, I think the next thing I'm going to do is either work on sounds so that there's a little more realistic footstep audio, body cam audio. You know how stuff is like muffled. There's a lot of like clothes kind of like rubbing against other surfaces and like itself and whatnot. So I don't know, just a lot of imperfection in the audio that I can do to achieve a more realistic feel. And I'm gonna do an open door and closed door interaction system, and then I just need to design a bunch more maps. So yeah, this was just a quick little showcase, even though it was longer than my first devlog. But yeah, hopefully you guys stick around to see more of what I do. And if you guys have any name suggestions, please help me because I do not know what I'm gonna call this yet. So yeah, see everybody.